Hi, lovers and leaders fam. Welcome to another time with me, Dr. Sarah. I just felt very moved to do a quick check in with you guys because I watched a little snippet of the after show for Real Housewives of Miami, season 7, episode 15 after show. And I really was drawn to the snippet where we have Lisa, Guerdy, and Adriana, and it gets to the part where the producers are asking Guerdy about how her therapy is going, her solo therapy, because she's experiencing, well, what's coming up is that she's experiencing abandonment issues from her parents, leaving her in the US, blah blah blah. Adriana talks about she also has abandonment issues, Lisa abandonment issues from their fathers, right? And it was such a touching moment, all right? Before I get to the point, it was really touching. I realized that the abandonment issues for Guerdy really, so far for me, I would say it comes in her friendships a lot, where you see so far in this season, she's always trying to do the most, not in a bad way, but I can tell that she's always thinking about the other, and usually people who are abandoned have like this kind of anxious attachment, relationship issue. And I do think about the other person a lot, which is wonderful for Guerdy, but they abandon themselves in the process. They abandon themselves and they attract people to abandon them. So I see that show up a lot in Guerdy. In Adriana, and Guerdy and her friendships, especially the breakdown of her friendship with Julia, right? And even like through the season, you see in last season how some of the girls are just not there for her, even through her breast cancer issue. They're just not very emotionally intelligent, in my opinion. Then you see Adriana talk about abandonment issues with her father. But I've seen Adriana abandonment issues shows up whereby, I mean, she's been married before, right? I'm not sure how many times she's been married, but I think it's been more than once. And she's talked about how she's gets dumped for a younger model as she's getting older. She also has a lot of friendship breakdowns, right? So that abandonment issues comes up there, where again, people that have experienced abandonment, you want to do the most for others, and you don't really think about yourself, right? Likewise, and Adriana's experienced breakdown of friendships with Julia as well, like Guerdy, and breakdown of friendships with Marisol and Alexia, right? And then Lisa also, has experienced abandonment issues too with her father. And I'm glad that before he passed away, she was able to like reconcile and get to know him a bit. So you could see with Lisa too, choosing a man that just wasn't the right fit for her and took advantage of her, cheating on her, blah blah blah. And now she's with another guy, Jody, and she's in episode 14. She's really trying to talk about getting remarried again, and I would encourage her just to take some therapy, have some time out, because again, it's that anxious attachment coming up there. But what really moved me about this after show was Adriana explaining how, like, yeah, she says to Guerdy, listen, I experienced abandonment issues with my dad, and I asked him one day, like, why did you leave me at 7? This is what Adriana was saying. And the dad said, if I knew what I knew now, I wouldn't have done that. And for her, it was very healing. And she concluded from that, you know what? Our parents got married very young, and they just didn't know any better, and they did the best that they could. So she was saying that to Guerdy, because Guerdy's going through her healing process with her abandonment issues with her parents, her dad. And Guerdy was like, yeah, I agree. I know they do the best that they could. But many of us have heard that many times, right? And you try to like soothe yourself with that, and it's sometimes not really helpful. But one thing I got from that statement, the way Adriana said they did the best that they could, and for her father to just admit and take accountability, if he knew better, basically, he would do better. I actually started having an emotional breakdown because I said to myself, the phrase that came in my mind, which was really soothing to me, was, it wasn't intentional. like parents like my parents, they got married very young, and this again, like Adriana, they only do the best that they can do with the knowledge that they had because they got married very young, right? I'm not making excuses for, for the negativity that some of us have experienced with some mistakes, but think about it. Lack of knowledge, yeah, you know, you're only going to do what you know, even though sometimes parents act as if they know it all. No, if it causes hurt to your children, you don't know, right? But I like the phrase that came to mind as Adriana was speaking, and I had my emotional breakdown, but it was so healing for me though, was the words, like I said, it wasn't intentional. Your parents, my parents, they didn't intend to cause like emotional hurt, emotional pain like they did, right? They only, basically transferred what they knew from their upbringing or what they thought was correct way to do it. It just wasn't intentional though. It wasn't intentional. Even though sometimes for some of you, you may say it felt evil, it felt diabolic, it felt just really abusive. Yes, I agree with all of that. But just think about it. If that's how it felt, that was literally the mental stage or the mental state of your parents. They're also a victim too, if you think about it. Carrying that type of energy and having kids, yeah. Inevitably, somebody's gonna get hurt, right? And unfortunately, the kids. But I just wanted to come on this this video and really encourage someone out there and to understand that since your parents, for the most part, it wasn't intentional, because if they really knew the impact of what they've done spiritually, emotionally, and other areas of your life and their life, they wouldn't have done it. It wasn't intentional, right? So I would just like to just encourage you to think to yourself, okay, if you were in this environment where you got some childhood wounds, okay, just like the ladies, right? It really is a call to action for us, right? To stop the blame game, stop dwelling in the past, stop dwelling in the shadows, stop dwelling in the graves of the past, where everything is dead and nothing grows in the dead, all right? But to come to a place of like, I want some light, I want some new knowledge, and be very intentional to really learn what love really is. Because the reality is, for the most part, a lot of our parents thought they knew love, like the framework of love, the package of love, but it had some holes in it. It had some gaps in it. And that's because the energy of love, the power of love, the God of love was making its way through their own emotional wounds, their brokenness, their lack of knowledge. So here's a call to action for you out there who are newly parents for 7 years, it don't matter. Older adults, your 30s, 40s, 50s, all right? I'm just going to encourage you that be intentional now to learn about love before you get into a new relationship. Even if you're in your current relationship, even if you're married right now, be intentional for yourself to learn what love entails. Not the worldly love, but try a love that says love is actually patient. Try the love that says love is kind. Try the love that says love is not boastful. Love is not proud. It's not self-seeking. It forgives always. It doesn't give up. It believes the right things, not the wrong things. Try that love. That love actually never fails. It's the love that has various conditions. You owe me. I did this for you. You do this for me. The love that fails has this sense of entitlement. I didn't get it from the last relationship. I didn't get love from my father or my mother. So I'm in a relationship with you, so I expect you to love me. That sense of entitlement will crash that relationship, will destroy that love. So it's not too late to learn what love is. I want to help you to just shift out from the mindset of going to a relationship and expecting somebody to love you. Because if you have come into a relationship with a limited understanding of love, whether you know it now or not, and some of you are already experiencing it, you've also attracted somebody that also has a limited understanding of love, because like attracts like. You attract who you are. They manifest differently on the outside, but when you get to know people, you realize, yeah, we have like similar issues. Okay? So I hope you got from this video some sense of encouragement and taking responsibility to learn love for yourself and let love find expression in you before you start expressing love to somebody else, and before you expect love for somebody else. Because if you don't know love for what it is in its purest form, how are you going to know if it's really love and not lust? Because there's a difference between love and lust is a deception. It can feel like you're in love. It can feel like you have a strong intimate relationships, but those relationships that are based on lust and all physical aspects, it will crash inevitably if the persons in the relationship don't learn the framework of love in its purest form. So learn love for yourself, allow it to be expressed in you first, so you know what it feels like, you know what it looks like, you know the state of it, you know how love thinks, right? Love is patient, it's kind, all right? It honors others people, it's not rude. And then when you get into these friendships or relationship, you can actually decipher, okay, red flag, green flag, should I pursue this, should I not pursue this, right? Because when you get into a relationship, when it's like, you know this person is struggling with love, it's just going to be harder for you to bounce back easily if you stay there too long. And that's how more and more trauma, gets created, because that relationship, again, that doesn't express love in its purest form will, give you a message of, maybe I've got to be the one doing more in the relationship. You have to overcompensate because the other person's not doing as much. You may be the one that's chasing. You may be the one that's running away because you haven't learned love for yourself. And the other message of encouragement is from your parents to you. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't intentional. They just made mistakes. They may or may not admit this to you, like Adriana's dad, but that's the reality. They had limited knowledge and expression of healthy love. Until next time, I want you to be safe, be healthy, and give love a chance, like real love a chance, not lust, love. Watch out for my video for episode 15 of Miami, Real Housewives of Miami. Watch out for that because I'll be dropping that very soon. Take care and blessings and love to you. Leave me a comment if you really resonate with what I was saying and what you're going to do next about love. Love you. Bye.